Hello folks, this is Jamil Sir for Gunstock Reviews. We're here at Enlo Custom Guns in Phoenix, Arizona with Marty half a mile out there. How you doing, Marty?
Good.
Hello, hello. Today we have the Real Avid Master Workstation here with a DPMS G2 rifle that we had done some customization in the past. We put Magpul furniture on it and a weird ass comp in here. We're going to talk about the G2 series of rifles. This came from DPMS, or it was part of Remington. And I'm not going to say it was controversial, but it was controversial. Either some people loved it, some people hated it. It was to the point of people who thought this was the greatest thing since sliced bread, and some people who actually told me this thing should not have existed to begin with. In brief, let me describe it as the way I know it. This is basically a 308 rifle that the front end is more like a 5.56 setup.
It had some reduced dimensions, kind of like it was the first AR-10 308-ish rifle that tried to reduce the dimensions down to what we have as a 5.56. I mean, POF had the Revolution rifle, Ruger's got their new 308, and I think there's other companies doing it as well. And I mean, there's obviously some advantages to that because a lot of AR-10s are enormous, and so it kind of makes them unwieldy and sometimes novelty guns where, you know, I don't really want to shoot, you know, people would always like say, okay, it's a, you know, a combat arm that weighs 15 pounds. It's like, you know, you strap enough accessories to it. And so this was an attempt to reduce the size of these. And, you know, it was an exciting thing at the time when it came out. Now, I haven't necessarily heard all of the things that you have about these, but there's one thing I do know about AR-10s is that AR-10s are ammunition sensitive. And oftentimes they need adjustable gas blocks in order to work correctly. And you know, the G2, if it was having cycling issues, I would easily blame some of those cycling issues on just the fact that it didn't have an adjustable gas block. You know, and there's other guns out there that have had similar fates where it's like, okay, how well did they work or not work? But you know, as far as should it exist, should it not exist? I mean, I'm somebody who would try to figure these things out anyway, and I probably would have tried to get it to work. But yeah.
Well, you know what's kind of sad, because I've had this rifle for a while, never have a single stoppage on it. But again, yes, it's loud. It's something that Freddie Blish would have some choice words if he was standing next to you. Well, you have a break like this one. And but one of the things that kind of bummed me out about it is the lack of parts for it.
Yeah.
It's aftermarket parts. I was approached by a company the other day about 6 months ago that they were working on parts for it, like, you know, all sorts of different accessories, mag releases, bolt stops, selectors, and such. But I lost contact with them. I would love to find out what parts they were going to make, because they said they were going to be making some really interesting parts. So if that was you, reach out to me again. I would love to know about your parts. Well,
I'll point this out. There is an unfortunate thing about a lot of AR-10s is that there's been multiple standards on them.
That's right. There's not a standard. It's a lack of standard.
So everybody, if you put out an AR-15 clone, something that mimics in a lot the same way as a bolt carrier, a hammer assembly of some sort, you know, I think I know of at least 3 or 4 magazines that AR-10s have run over the years. There were those that took the SR-25 mag, which I think most guns do now. But
yes,
there were guns that took M14 mags, modified
Correct.
M14s. That was Armalite. Then you had ones that were taking FAL mags.
And some that took G3 mags.
G3 mags, okay. And then you know, that right there, I mean, you just had this weird standard. And I mean, how many of those rifles are out there floating around where people are like, okay, what parts can I get? I've seen different bolt dimensions. The G2 has its own proprietary bolt, but you know, they have different bolt dimensions. Sometimes we're talking 4 ends, right? And this is a scaled down version, so that makes sense that OK would have its own proprietary setup, or maybe it's close to something else that's out there in the market now. But you know, I've seen it where you have these AR-10s out there that between DPMS, Armalite, whoever else was making them, you know, and I list those, but I mean, you had Knights, you had let's see, just a various amount of them that were just out there. I mean, now you got Wilson and others, but they all, in some ways, have their own proprietary stuff, and you would see different Picatinny rail heights. So you'd try to strap one on, their barrel nuts would be different, and AR-10s can be a builder's headache.
Yeah. Well, one good thing about this rifle is that there's a company out there called Samson that decided that they were going to make parts for it.
There we go.
And so they made a 15-inch handguard for it. This is specifically made for the DPMS G2. They have a bunch of accessories that do attach to it because it's M-LOK. So pretty much any M-LOK accessory will fit onto it. If you like to attach your kitchen sink to your rifle, hey, this is the kind of attachment that you need. Also, because instead of cutting this down to put a long floating handguard, we got a Samson gas tube, which is a whole lot smaller than this gigantomous thing. And for the brake, we got a Surefire brake. Some of the Surefire brakes are made specifically for suppressors. This is the Pro Comp. This one comes with a crush washer. The other ones that are supposed to be used with a suppressor, they come with Rockset.
Rockset and shims, yes.
And shims, and they are a total pain in the butt to put in. You have done those before for me, and they are pain. You have to spend an hour there trying to figure out which shim to use, or use a little chart.
Well, you could use a little chart, but well, we won't get into that. But yeah, the crush washer helps timing-wise. And
Yeah,
so,
and I'm not going to put a suppressor in it, so here it is. This is the totally, I know Dave hates this part, totally cool kit from Samson. Comes with instructions, comes with its own barrel nut, which Marty will figure out how to work. It comes with a whole bunch of M-LOKs and QDs on both sides, long Picatinny rail, and like I said, it's made specifically to match this unit here. So, Marty, there you go. Comes with a bunch of, this setup here has a bunch of Allen wrenches in it, but I think you have your own, so.
yeah.
We have done this kind of setup before. We're not going to show it to you again. So, Marty, you're on your own. Well, Marty, here it is. It's all done. It's interesting is the parts. I mean, when you were putting together that gas block, I thought it was backwards, but it wasn't. You actually knew what you were doing. Interesting. It's a very interesting setup. I find it, you know, like I said, a lot of people say this shouldn't exist. I think it's a really cool concept. I believe that it has a place. It's too bad that DPMS in the new iteration is not making it anymore.
Yeah, it probably suffered from lack of development.
Yeah.
It's one of those things, and it's nice to see other manufacturers kind of take that up. Once again, the downside is with those is that they're all going to have something proprietary as well.
Yeah.
And how good they shake out to be, I guess we'll see.
Yeah, and this is really interesting. It's great that Samson has this handguard. It fits perfectly well. But everything else looks great. The brake is going to be loud and annoying for Freddie, so I can sight it in next to him and really annoy the heck out of him. You were making fun of my dot.
Well, I've never seen one before. So
It's
yeah.
a Bushnell. It's been discontinued now.
A little far back, but okay.
Yeah, it's a little bit too far back, but I threw it in just for video, and it has never been. I sighted it in, and I annoyed the living hell out of a lady standing next to me. She wasn't having any of it, man.
Well, you're also now missing a front sight.
Missing
so,
a front sight,
yeah.
so I need to get a pop-up front sight for it. But it's ready to go, man. Thank you very much, sir. See if we can reach over this gigantic thing. And we'll keep using this Real Avid workstation as a cool thing. We'll get some of the accessories and show the accessories where everything goes. The Real Avid toolkit goes in there, and all sorts of things fit here. It has little places for bottles and.
There's quite a bit to go over on this thing, yeah.
Oh no, there's a lot of things we got to go over it. We'll go over it in a separate video. But thanks again, guys. Thanks for watching. Please like this video, share this video, and subscribe to the channel. And like always, remain healthy, stay safe, and definitely have fun at the range.